I'm Ernie Humphrey, Educational Programs Leader for Performative, the largest community for corporate finance, accounting, treasury, and related professionals. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar, The 5 Levels of Corporate Performance Management Maturity, Climbing to the Top Floor. Despite the increasing availability of data from all parts of their organizations across the enterprise, most finance leaders are far from where they want to be in terms of leveraging this data to drive performance. The term corporate performance management is common, but what does it really mean? How can firms assess where they are at in terms of corporate performance management effectiveness, determine where they want and need to go, and define a strategy to get there? Today, you will discover the 5 stages of CPM maturity, from the world of spreadsheet and process chaos to the precise alignment of business strategy with CPM initiatives to drive business growth and competitive advantage. In addition, our speakers will offer you actionable advice to use in navigating your company's journey to best-in-class corporate performance management. I would like to thank Profix, whose commitment to thought leadership helps us make this webinar possible and delivered at no cost. A quick note on today's agenda. First, we will hear a joint presentation from our featured speakers, and then we will move to the interactive Q&A session, where we will spend the remainder of our hour. We would like this to be an interactive experience for you. So if you have any questions at any time, please go to the questions area in your GoToWebinar control panel and send us your question. A few logistical notes about the webinar today. A link to today's presentation and video recording of the webinar will be sent out to all attendees within 24 hours of the event. Those who would like CPE credits will need to answer all polling questions during the event and should have pre-registered for CPE credit. For any questions on CPE credits, please send an email to cpe@performative.com. Again, we encourage you to ask questions on today's topic via the questions box in your GoToWebinar control panel at any time during the webinar. Finally, if you have to take a short survey today, immediately following the webinar, we greatly appreciate your feedback regarding our event today, as we always strive to improve the ROI we offer our event attendees for their valuable time. A quick word about Performative. Performative is the largest online community and resource for senior-level corporate finance, accounting, treasury, and related leaders. Performative connects corporate finance leaders to provide instant advice and insights on the tough financial and strategic challenges that they face every day. Let's get started by introducing today's first speaker, Nicole Deisman, Product Manager, Profix Software. Nicole is an experienced product manager with a proven track record of over 10 years of working directly and indirectly with and leading cross-functional teams focused on product positioning, sales enablement, product launch, market intelligence, and demand generation. Nicole has been involved in the implementations of financial analytics systems at more than 50 organizations throughout North America. She has worked with companies in varying industries and sizes, from manufacturing, professional services, education, to oil and gas, ranging in annual revenues from $300 million and up. She has also served as a solutions engineer for Profix Software, where she was, and still is, deeply involved in delivering Profix's value proposition to the marketplace. Nicole holds an honors bachelor's degree of economics and financial management from Wilfrid Laurier University and an MBA from the University of Calgary, Haskayne School of Business, with a concentration in marketing. With that, it is my distinct pleasure to hand the floor over to Nicole Deisman. Nicole, the floor is yours. Please take it away. Thank you very much.
So to start out, during today's presentation, we are going to take a closer look into what corporate performance management is, how it can add value to your business processes, really by exploring the Gartner CPM maturity model, and also why CPM software technology can create a value-added business solution for organizations such as yourselves, those on the line today. So let's get started. We're going to begin with an overview of the current CPM marketplace. I'll probably say CPM a lot. That acronym, as we've spoken about already, stands for Corporate Performance Management. So here we go, a familiar situation. Every department operating as a silo, both from a reporting and a planning perspective. They each have their own operational systems, and they each have probably their own processes and may share very little across departments. And this can create, of course, a series of challenges, a series of problems. No one is leveraging each other's data. There's no single version of the truth, we like to say, and no integrated scorecards, dashboards, financial reports that the executive team needs to be able to view to operate their business. Everyone tends to be operating within their own silos. There are also many moving parts to an integrated report or budget. As such, creating the budget is very difficult and time-consuming, and creating a forecast can be virtually impossible for some organizations. Because of the nature of spreadsheets, if that may be the system you're using, or other dispersed systems, of course, each business unit may spend any number of hours, days, trying to get their data source into their proper report packages. And if you're loading it from multiple systems, of course, this can take hours, days, months even. And there can be a problem because mistakes are made. Of course, we're humans, and they can be made, and in that type of solution and that type of system, they can become undiscovered, and it creates even more inaccuracies in your financial reporting and your planning. Some organizations I've spoken with, their budget time can last up to 6 months, which unfortunately isn't acceptable in today's business world, of course, and it certainly negates the possibility for frequent reforecasting. So the impact, why do we care about this? The impact of the overall business can be quite extensive. There is a lack of collaboration for reporting and planning from that perspective. There are many moving parts, so it starts to create actually a lack of control. And lastly, because so much time is spent on preparing the data, sending the files, many elements can get lost in translation, and this leads to a lack in visibility from the final numbers and their origination point, again, lost in translation. So without the ability to have instant access to relevant key information, it can become virtually impossible to manage the business properly, accurately, effectively. So the question really, how can we get some help? How does CPM, how does corporate performance management software help out in a situation like this? CPM software, it really starts to leverage all of the existing systems that your departments may be using. It builds on them, and it really helps each department organize its data. And it's all, the beauty of it is it's all in one single unified solution. So each department can have their piece of the system, if you will, where it feeds from the same data source, and it feeds into the same data source. So you're getting that consolidation of data aggregation is automatically happening for you. And through security access, it allows users to see and edit and change only the data that they should have access to. CPM software also can extract data, most systems anyway, can extract data from a number of different external databases, ODBC compliant, so essentially it's a simple one-time handshake with that data source, and via an easy-to-use drag and drop interface, you can bring in that data. They start to become automated, and it certainly ensures that everyone starts to utilize the same data. Also, each individual department can have their own unique and complex processes that are set up within the system. So they can set up their own simple business rules, reports, forecasts, plans, what have you, to be able to report and plan properly, again, within that simple self-service user interface. And the beauty of it is, in most CPM solutions, there's not a lot of IT requirement. So you're not having to issue IT tickets or having IT to build your reports. I recall, my goodness, it was probably about 5 years ago, but working with a client, they were in New Jersey in the education industry, and for any report that they had to get, and we're talking the VP of Finance here, they had to call up IT to get the report built for them if it was a new type of report. And in today's day and age, even back then, we can't wait for that information. We have to be able to get our hands on the right relevant information to be able to analyze and make correct business decisions. So it's interesting. So this output then, when you start to use the CPM solution, is shared based on security, so that true management reports, dashboards, scorecards can be distributed throughout the organization. And it's not only, in the forms that it's pushed out in, it's a report book, it's in PDF, it's in SharePoint, it's in Excel, it's through the CPM interface. CPM software really helps organizations with their strategic goal alignments because it starts to automate the collection and dissemination of information across the company in a relevant, rapid, and reliable manner. And this really starts to ensure that budgets and forecasts are based on the same underlying assumptions, and due to the automation of CPM software, it really allows for a more meaningful plan to be created and more insight from more departments in a faster time period. CPM software also starts to ensure that the entire organization is aligned because those high-level targets can be set and communicated out to the department managers so that they can budget, plan, forecast properly. And because CPM software stores all the base assumptions and details in a single unified solution, this means that all those underlying assumptions that go into the planning and reporting and forecast are accessible at a win. So you can get down into that detailed data. You can look at it in a consolidated format, basically with a click of the button. And the other nice real benefit that I think is quite important is it's CPM software is really meant for you, I'm sure on the line today, the business end users. So you don't have any coding requirements. You set up within the system the right security. They can get the right reports, and they essentially become maintenance free. And you can start to analyze your data instead of spend time on consolidating and putting it in the right format. So that's a brief kind of quick talk about the issues associated with planning and reporting. For those that are down in the field, individuals that are usually responsible for providing the data to populate the budgets, plans, forecasts, and reports. But what about, and this may be you, the C-level executives, and more particular, what about the CFO? What are their top issues that are keeping you up at night, possibly? Given the speed of change in business models and the volatility in financial markets, CFOs really need to be able to adapt to change in an instant. The ongoing demands on finance and really ensuring the skills and capabilities are present to meet these demands is quite vital. Similar to the frontline employees, CFOs are still receiving massive amounts of data on a daily basis. You may have individuals that sort through that information, but still it's a lot of information coming at you. So being able to gather insights quickly, make those strategic decisions is certainly necessary. It's a necessary duty of the CFO. So when you start to look at CPM software, leveraging CPM, corporate performance management, really allows CFOs to consistently achieve value by effectively anticipating and managing the change that they're so often dealing with. So CPM starts to give you the right mix of standardization and flexibility to deliver predictable results and essentially sustainable execution of the strategy that may have been determined at the beginning of the fiscal year. It really starts to allow you to anticipate the future and plan for those business opportunities. It allows you to simplify and integrate business activities so that they can be analyzed for cost and value. And it allows you to focus on innovation within existing boundaries of your business. And that's really important. How can we innovate externally out to the market, but also how can we innovate internally and make our processes more effective? In terms of CPM, it also allows you to integrate new business opportunities continuously, rapidly, and cost-effectively, and manage change through your people, through the individuals that may be reporting to you. You may notice some quotes on this slide, some insight from PricewaterhouseCoopers and Gartner. Gartner, I'm not sure if you're aware of who they are, but they are the leading CPM industry analysts, and obviously we're going to talk a little more about them in terms of the maturity model. So moving along, in terms of what is CPM, you're hearing this term, but how is it technically defined? And I'm going to throw a couple of definitions at you here. CPM software is designed to be used enterprise-wide. It usually complements a business intelligence system, and it also includes things that are listed here: budgeting, planning, forecasting, as well as financial, statutory, and management reporting capabilities. We get into formal financial consolidation. We get into profitability modeling and optimization, and then strategy management, so using scorecards and dashboards to display and deliver corporate information. CPM really enables organizations to gain better visibility to their organizations and really create those forward-looking views out into the future. Unlike other operational applications, what CPM really allows you to do is improve corporate decision making and really elevate the Office of Finance into a more strategic role. It starts to deliver applications that provide visibility into the processes governing data creation for financial reporting and planning. And these are some of the definitions that Gartner is providing to the space today. Okay, so let's get moving ahead here to this Gartner maturity model. Let's take a look at the Gartner maturity model and understand more what it may mean for your organization. So let me just move forward here. So before we jump into more of what makes CPM software unique and why organizations should choose CPM software, we want to pause for a moment and look more at this from the 10,000-foot level. Many times businesses don't understand the need for CPM solutions in the market, and it's more of understanding what it can do for you, I think. As mentioned, Gartner is an industry-leading technology research and advisory company. Basically, I think of them as the watchdog for our industry, and they've created something called this CPM maturity model, and it consists of the 5 levels mentioned here. It categorizes them in these levels from unaware to transformative. And depending on the level of your organization, where you fit within that. So really dependent on if you're fully embracing CPM to assess business results and continually improving business performance. So the objective behind this is to really start to evaluate CPM processes holistically to create a foundation for an enterprise-wide approach to performance management. And one thing to note before we go into this is that organizations can be at different levels for different CPM processes. For example, they could be at level 4 for budgeting and planning. Maybe they're at level 1 for forecasting. So again, remember the components of CPM. It's not just one area. It's budgeting, planning, forecasting, data analysis, if you will, profitability analysis, financial reporting. So let's go in and take a little bit of a closer look at this. So this here is the Gartner maturity model. The Gartner Group offers a useful tool in using this for understanding really where your organization is in regards to CPM and really how you can move to the next level. So this here is the diagram that Gartner created to explain the various levels, again, from 1 to 5. And you may be at different levels. Let me take a brief moment to talk about each of the levels here so you can start to understand where you may be for parts of CPM. So starting on the far left, level 1, unaware. Gartner really describes this level as basically spreadsheet anarchy. CPM processes are performed in a highly inefficient manner because they typically involve the use of spreadsheets or a combination of spreadsheets on top of that homegrown, outdated products to consolidate financial results. And planning can be very resource intensive. And it's lacking the controls that are needed. Moving next to level 2, opportunistic. So here, at this level, the organization has implemented one or more CPM application to address things such as consolidation, reporting, budgeting, forecasting. Efficiency and accuracy have increased, however, they're still largely working in the silos, and it does intend to provide business value, a lot of business value anyway, because the planning is still very short term. And on top of that, finance is usually the only department that is involved in the process. Level 3 is standards. So here, this level describes an organization who has implemented several CPM modules. So they're moving out a bit. They capture additional efficiencies within finance, and they start to create business of value through greater operational insight, collaboration, and organizational agility. CPM isn't just used by finance, so other operational units are getting involved, and organizations at this level have more frequent planning. So possibly they're starting to look at rolling forecasts and things like that, if that's one of the areas of CPM they implemented. Moving to 4 and 5, you're getting more and more sophisticated. So level 4 is enterprise. This level involves organizations with a very comprehensive CPM approach that is really moving toward performance management and more of a data-driven analytical culture within the organization. Planning processes become dynamic and can be conducted as frequently as changing business conditions require. So both corporate and operational participants are included in this. They're collaborating, they're analyzing information, and the organization's experience, they value the new business insights and the greater organizational agility. Here you've almost reached the final stage of CPM maturity, and then there are just a few new CPM capabilities that will enable the business value. And then moving to the far right, level 5, transformative. Here we've really reached the pinnacle of CPM maturity. This business is driven by business strategy. Strategy is linked to execution, and decisions are made off of relevant decision-making information. Keep in mind, achieving this level is rare. It is a model to strive for, and some capabilities, it's interesting what Gartner says, some of the capabilities at this level are not even fully supported by some of the CPM solutions that are out in the marketplace. There may be still some technical gaps. So by your organization, understanding the value of CPM and where the organization may be sitting in the CPM maturity curve, it really can be a catalyst for businesses to further support evaluating CPM and implementing a solution, implementing a CPM software solution. So moving along and analyzing what this really means, some of the key selling points, and this is interesting. So 70% of organizations out in the marketplace today are at level 1 and 2. So don't feel bad if you're looking at this diagram and you're like, whoa, we are way over on the left. 70%, that is obviously the majority. What we have next is 25% are at level 3, 4, and 5% are at level 5. So again, very hard to get over to the full right. So lastly, not every organization needs to be at level 5, but all need to be, according to Gartner, at a minimum of level 3. So the room for growth and finance leading this initiative is quite significant. Just to take a quick moment to help further explain the optimal level, level 3. Organizations in this level, they've implemented several of the CPM functions, possibly budgeting and reporting, for example. And CPM is not viewed as a finance-only function, so operational departments, sales, marketing, possibly IT to use it for their budgeting, maybe using CPM. More detailed operational data is used, so it's not just your general ledger data. Possibly they're bringing in fixed asset data, possibly they're bringing in sales data, possibly they're bringing in inventory data, depending on the key drivers of your organization. And it's not a small group of people that are using it. Rather, that it is widely dispersed and being embraced by the company and its various stakeholders. So where I wanted to move next is really an overview of the current CPM marketplace, what we're seeing anyway. In terms of market share, this market really continues to be dominated by the big 3 tier 1 vendors. We have Oracle with Hyperion Planning, SAP with BPC, and IBM with Cognos TM1. However, these are primarily deployed by enterprise firms of over $1 billion, according to Gartner. And generally, these tier 1 vendors have a multi-product approach and are still very expensive and complex to implement. So what we're starting to see, and it's really been over the past 5 years or so, is opportunities for new CPM vendors that are popping up. And again, you can certainly look at the Magic Quadrant to take a look at that. And certain products on those big 3 are being retired, and certain vendors are dealing with product acquisition and life cycle issues, are really providing new opportunities for the current CPM vendors that are in the marketplace. So given this perception and sometimes reality of enterprise CPM implementations being costly, time-consuming, and fairly IT-intensive, many vendors are being established, as mentioned, and they're focusing on these things: a lower total cost of ownership, shorter implementation time, so we're not talking years, we're talking weeks, fully unified CPM solutions, truly fully unified CPM solutions where you do get all capabilities in one product. There are no add-ons. You don't have to buy multiple products. You get it all. And this actually transforms into lower IT costs. So now that we have an understanding of the relevance of CPM, we're going to look at how the newer generation of CPM solutions are unique compared to what has traditionally been the perception of CPM solutions in the marketplace. Traditionally, CPM solutions required a high degree of involvement from IT, who owned essentially the technology stack and the deliverables. IT had to understand the business user requirements to produce the deliverables, and only then can they deliver really the end results that we need. Business users, on the other hand, needed to perform actions to create those end results. So they needed to create business modeling and rule creation. They needed to define processes. They needed to set up calculations, what-if scenarios, etc. Business users made these types of requests to IT for creating the models and reports that they needed, and they had to translate that information. Process was time-consuming. It resulted in business users ultimately resorting to using spreadsheets and specialized point solutions, and those were often implemented without IT oversight. What we're starting to see now in the evolution of CPM is we're starting to take a different approach with the vision of ultimate ownership of CPM processes by the business end user. And this is really accomplished by developing a product that enables the business users to own the entire CPM lifecycle without coding, without the requirement of IT. And we call this productization. And this then permits the IT professionals to manage what they need to, which includes security, deployment, and really heightens the information awareness and decision-making agility of an organization, because it ensures the quality and consistent data is available for consumption for those end users. And to summarize this in this slide next, productization equals minimal IT involvement. So you can see on the left, IT is focusing on the things that they care about. On the right, you're getting full business user responsibility, and they have the ability to create the things they need to analyze their business. The business user can start to focus on what matters without the reliance on IT. It really starts to become a win-win for all the parties involved. To summarize, the key benefits of CPM that you can think about, one single unified product. Again, as I mentioned, there's no add-ons, no extra products or modules. You can scale to meet your changing requirements. Again, think of the Gartner CPM maturity model and how you answered that question, that polling question. You own the software, you own the data, you are in control. You're always within a secure environment. You can connect directly to those external systems, so you're not having to even rely on IT in some situations to do that. You can drill across into transactional data, so you can go down very low level detail and also look at the consolidated information. A customer can upgrade when it's convenient for them, again, taking IT out of the equation, and it's a very scalable infrastructure to maximize performance and end user experience. Some other solutions also offer SharePoint integration, which is becoming more and more popular. All right, I'm going to stop there. Thank you very much for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the seminar.
Thank you very much, Nicole, for that great content and insights. It's now my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, Melissa Mikita, Financial Planning and Analysis Manager, Pace Communications. A CPA, Melissa is responsible for all functional activities and policies related to finance, budgeting, financial analysis, and business planning at Pace Communications. Before joining Pace, Melissa worked as an audit manager for Dixon Hughes Goodman LLP, where she had an opportunity to work abroad with a partner firm for an extended period of time. It is my pleasure to hand the floor over to Melissa. Melissa, the floor is yours. Please take it away. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ernie. I figure I would start today with a little introduction about the company that I work for now, Pace Communications. We are a content marketing agency that specializes in custom content solutions. This includes print products, magazines, websites, and interactive initiatives. We work with some of the world's premier brands, and including industries of telecommunications, hotel hospitality, and retail. Through words and visuals, we build custom communications channels on relevant platforms around predetermined marketing objectives, and this resonates with the consumer and produces positive ROI for our clients. Our clients include some of the world's most recognizable brands. These include Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts, American Cancer Society, Southwest Airlines, U.S. Airways, Verizon Wireless, AAA, Wells Fargo, and Walmart. We have more than 300 professionals who consistently produce award-winning work, and in 2013 we were recognized as the Content Agency of the Year by the Content Marketing Institute. As the Financial Planning and Analysis Manager, my job is to provide accurate and reliable financial reporting to the key stakeholders of the company. This includes active involvement in the day-to-day operations of the company, working closely with our internal client teams to help them understand their P&Ls and the effects that the activities have on their business. I work with a team of 4 financial analysts, each of whom manage a portfolio of internal client teams. As a group, we help our teams monitor their actual costs from month to month. We're actively involved in the closing process each month, and we provide support in forecasting from year to year. To give you a little background of how our company operates, each client team is considered a business unit, and the senior vice president and account director responsible for each client have access to their P&L for their unit. These teams earn revenue from providing various forms of content services to their clients and also incur direct costs from third-party vendors. Our largest internal cost is our payroll, since we are a service organization, and the cost of our talent is allocated to each team based on their actual time entry from each person. All of our overhead costs are allocated across the company based on percentage of total revenue. Our monthly reports include, we have a variance report for the current month that we are closing, and a forecasted P&L, which shows actual to date, and then a forecast for the remainder of the year. We've recently implemented a rolling 12-month forecast, and this provides our estimate of the performance for each team 12 months from any point in time. Each team, the CFO, the corporate controller, and I meet every month to review the current month's actual forecast variances and discuss any future forecast changes that we've identified. This information is taken then by the CFO and shared with the executive committee and owner of our company. For our previous process, for many, many years, PACE has used FRX, Microsoft FRX, as the financial reporting tool. Our GL would feed information into FRX and provide a 12-month P&L showing actual information to date and then forecast for the remainder of the year. We also had a variance report on a monthly basis. Both of these reports would have to be printed to PDF, manually separated and emailed to the various financial statement users of the company, which could take several hours sometimes. To perform an ad hoc analysis on any financial information, we had to rely heavily on the general ledger details and Excel. Budgeting was a painful process of gathering information from various users across the company and compiling this into Excel, manually keying into FRX, and additionally having to make a significant amount of assumptions from the financial teams. There are a lot of manual, time-consuming components to our previous process, and we didn't realize how much time we were spending each month in our financial reporting process until we started thinking about change. Our journey began when Microsoft announced in 2010 that they would no longer be supporting FRX at the end of 2012. We knew we needed to find a new financial reporting platform to replace FRX. Simultaneously, the company needed to find a better tool for our budgeting process. 90% of our users are Mac users, so the number one requirement we had for both systems was Mac compatibility. When we identified systems for either need, we asked our IT department to do the initial legwork of determining if the system identified was compatible with Macs and all of its features were functioned as needed. The consulting company for our GL system came to PACE and presented a budgeting system which had made it through our Mac testing requirements, but we were overwhelmed with the complexity of the tool. We were in a position where we were going to have to completely train our entire company on how to use this complex system in our budgeting process. This would require a significant amount of time to properly train everyone, and we still weren't convinced that the training would stick and allow our budgeting process to flow seamlessly, so we were back to the drawing board. When we discovered that a corporate performance management system, or CPM, could handle both our financial reporting and budgeting needs, this changed the game for us. Leading up to this point, we had not considered the possibility that one system could take care of everything we needed. Our IT department tested several CPM systems to confirm MAC compatibility. Once we received the green light from our team, we reached out to the vendor to learn more about the system. We learned that this system could provide the financial reporting information we need and allow multiple members of the PACE team to input their budget information. There were many selling points for us with this system. Compatibility with MACs was obviously the most significant factor. We also learned that we could purchase varying degrees of user licenses based on our needs. We were going to be able to limit each user's access to the information within the system based on multiple factors, down to the GL account number or client name. This was important to us as we historically would spend a significant amount of time manually separating financial reports and distributing to the users. The report distribution function of the system would turn this into an automated process, sending the reports to the users based on their security. We learned that we could design each report to look exactly how we wanted it to, instead of modifying our current format to a system-designated one. And the most exciting piece for us was the look and feel of the data entry components. It looked just like Excel. So instead of spending hours developing and training our staff, we had the ability to send each budget owner a link that would take them to a file that looked and functioned just like Excel. Since it looked like Excel, it was similar and familiar to our users, so we weren't going to have to start from scratch. We weren't going to have to teach them how to use the new system, just how to follow our new process. Once the decision was made to use a CPM system, it was time to implement. Since our internal resources already had a very full workload, we decided to use an internal contractor to lead the implementation process. Our vendor was on site for 2 weeks, and the total implementation took about 5 to 6 weeks. We also used this opportunity to reevaluate our chart of accounts and modified the chart of accounts to better meet our reporting needs. Our consultant walked us through the entire system, helped us identify what would provide the most value to the company, how to design our reporting templates, guided us through the build of our budgeting process, and left us in a position where we could stand on our own 2 feet. We continue to use the help of our consultant for follow-up site visits to tackle additional projects within the system. The implementation of the new CPM system was easily sold to the financial statement users of the company. Since this was a new system, would give them better access to the financial information they are being held accountable for. They were able to have a more hands-on approach to the budgeting process, and the inputs they would be providing would be in a format that was familiar. And the CFO was also pleased that we could limit user access and distribute information using an automated process. We immediately realized that our investment was well worth it. We were saving so much time. The GL fed directly into the system. It sorted and accumulated data into our uniquely designed templates and distributed to all financial statement users, all with just a few clicks of a mouse. The first rollout of the budget process was such a success as well. Each user was able to input their applicable information without seeing too much of the budget, and we were able to compile everything at a high level for summary level review. The FP&A team now has access to all of the details within the GL and can organize it using ad hoc and drill across to provide fast answers to client teams. We're able to better monitor real costs coming in the door and react faster to unexpected variances to provide more value to the company as a whole. The lessons we've learned from this process is that first and foremost, you have to identify what is missing in your current process. There's almost certainly a system out there to help fill in the gaps. We are a unique company in a constantly evolving industry, and we're able to find the perfect tool to meet our needs, so this is possible for anyone. Our processes run smoother. We've taken several manual processes and automated them, which helps take the risk of human error out of the equation. We have a better tool to evaluate monthly variances, monitor our year-end results on an ongoing basis, and have empowered our users to have access to the information they need when they need it. The sky seems like the limit with usages of the system. We have just recently introduced a new data set into the system and are developing templates to better track and report on time entry inputs. We have plans to utilize the system to automate the payroll allocation process based on employees' entries, and we're working towards using our CPM system to organize and accumulate information for our third-party contractors, which are a significant piece of our business. CPM has changed our business. We now have access to so much information. We can perform a quick what-if analysis. We can slice and dice our financial data from multiple angles and have finally found a tool to give us a realistic view on our annual needs. This has given management a tool to make business decisions based on accurate financial information provided in a timely manner. This has freed up our accounting and FP&A teams to focus on other system improvements in our departments and just to become an overall better resource to every member in our organization. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Next question I will direct to Nicole. Can you speak to the control aspects of the CPM technology? So, for example, sales reports completed by the sales team actually tie back to the sales numbers in the accounting, so sales can't really create their own version of the truth.
Okay. Yeah, let me see if I can understand that question. So I think you were saying that sales enters a number, but then it's tied back to the accounting system. Was that right, Ernie?
Right. Yeah, I think the gist of the question is how do you confirm that there's actually one version of the truth in the sales
right.
numbers?
Sure. Okay. Makes sense. That's a good question. A lot of the CPM solutions out there will have that automatic integration for you that are set up. So each operational unit can have their version of the truth, if you will, but it integrates back into the main financial model, and they can push data back and forth. Or you can set up one main financial model that would house everything. So depending on the unique needs of the organization, it can become quite automated, that process. And the one version of the truth is there because of who's using and analyzing and entering data. And again, having those controls set up within the software, it allows you to maintain that. Hopefully that answers that question. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you very much. Okay, great. Can I ask you a follow-up question, Nicole? So are some of the companies, how do these companies keep the momentum in terms of moving up to CPM maturity? And a kind of an ancillary question is, are they kind of, biting off pieces in terms of moving up the curve? Are they trying to, jump multiple levels, or how does that usually work?
Yeah, sure. I think it's a gradual process for most organizations. I would suggest, and Melissa, maybe you can pipe in there too in your direct experience. But from my experience, organizations that we deal with will start with priority number one. So maybe priority number one is creating consolidated financial reports. They start there and they grow from there. Maybe it's making sure the budget gets out on time and the key contributors are providing input. You start there and you grow from there. But once you break off a chunk of it and see the benefits of it, reporting those benefits back to other parts of the organization, maybe other parts of the organization that aren't dealing with that pain that they used to be dealing with. So, for example, if finance has to get the month-end numbers out, making sure, if they're using a CPM solution to do that, and, let's say they save 2 weeks from using that CPM solution, reporting those benefits out internally to the other departments, because then you can start to take it off in bite-sized pieces where those other departments can start to use the CPM solution as well and say, hey, you know what if we did it? What if we use CPM to create our reports or whatever it is? So yeah, I think keeping the momentum going is ensuring that all individuals within the organization are aware of the benefits that the organization is receiving from using it, whether they're directly or indirectly involved. Melissa, do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, so when we implemented our system, our first priority was financial reporting and budgeting. But after we've become comfortable with that process and are happy with the results. We've began using it for other reporting type of information internally within the company. So like I mentioned, we have a lot of time entry is a big piece. We work on budgets. We have budgets from our clients. So we get paid a set fee based, and depends on how many hours it takes for us to complete various projects. So time reporting is a very important information to all of the client teams within the company to understand how many hours it's taking their groups to complete the work and the progress that they're eating up the budget. So we're starting to use the CPM system to feed just raw time data into the system and using it to then distribute out, which again has been a manual process. And so now we're able to really design a nice format that meets everyone's needs. So it's as we get more comfortable with the system and start to realize how much of a time saver it is, it's then setting aside a week to design something and implement it and teach our users how to use it. So yeah, it's kind of bits and pieces.
Yeah, yeah, and in our experience, it tends to become a ripple effect where, again, they see that benefit and they're like, yeah, I want on that. I want an hour back of my day or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Great content, great answers. Just maybe one more question here to Melissa. If you had to implement the system all over again, what would you change or keep the same? That would be part one. So if you had to implement all over again, what would you change or keep the same? And I'd also like to add in one more question. What was the biggest unexpected benefit that you realized from upgrading to the CPM solution?
Let's see. I think if we were to do it again, we would probably do it earlier in the year. We waited until the second half of the year to start the implementation, so it kind of pushed up onto our budgeting process. So it delayed us getting started there. So I think we would probably start earlier. But we also used the time we were revamping these processes to really improve our internal documentation. So we were able to take screenshots that way and really document the process of running the financial information through the system and distributing it to the users, and the budgeting process. And so we really took the time to take pictures of what we were doing, so that way if someone new came in behind us, they would know what to do and wouldn't be left in the cold. So I think we would certainly focus on our documentation again. I think it's been really beneficial as new folks have joined our team as far as training goes. I think it's just realizing that it can be used as kind of the system is used as a data warehouse as well, so it's not really just for financial information out of the GL, but we're also able to feed other data sets into our system and receive reports of sorts out of it. And I said it saved us a lot of manual processes have become automated, it just saves us a lot of time. I don't think we were expecting it to be that beneficial.
Great. Thank you very much. With that, I'll conclude the Q&A session. We'll coordinate with our speakers getting answers to any questions that were not answered today. A big thank you to Nicole and Melissa for their time and insights. They're clearly thought leaders in their fields and an excellent source of information on today's topic. Note in the post-webinar survey, you'll be asked to take right after the webinar. You have the opportunity to express your interest in being connected with Nicole and or Melissa with just a few mouse clicks. Again, a big thank you to today's sponsor, Profix, and their commitment to thought leadership. And finally, a big thank you to the audience for your valuable time. We hope to see you soon in another Performative webinar or online at www.performative.com. Make the rest of your day great, everyone. Thank you very much.